we're going Tuesday, Wednesday, and the way the doctor phrased it is we'll either be setting up an appointment, like we'll be setting a date for her to be induced, or we will be walking across the little bridge to the actual hospital proper, depending on where she's at. So we'll see.
Danny's not happy at the idea of being the tenant not coming themselves.
Yeah. We're due date was 27th. Tentative early due date was 420, which very hilarious.
Yeah.
Very on brand.
I work in an industry where, cannabis is part of it, so my job definitely was very excited about that. And they were like, we can get just sponsorship. I mean,
there's a very strong possibility this baby comes on 420. There's a really strong chance that this baby comes on 420.
It's a decent enough chance. It's not a strong chance, but it's a decent enough chance that the baby comes on 420. And I mean, honestly, I know if this is in this episode as an intro at all, audience, I know this sounds like a joke. Because of me and who I am as a person and who you see me as on this podcast. It wasn't planned this way, but hilarious. Trust me, it's a very good bit. He's got very good comedic timing right off the bat, and I'm very excited.
I might make that the intro. Are you cool with that being the intro?
I'm so cool with that.
Oh, wait, no. Ben's the one that decides.
Oh, shit.
Ben gets to decide what's the intro. I forgot.
Yeah, Chris, that's the intro. I don't give a what you say. No, I'm kidding.
Very good. Man, see, Ben let the smallest amount of power go to his head.
He's got exactly one episode, and he's got power math. Hello and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week, The Phantom Menace, the 11th watch of The Phantom Menace.
Woo!
Arguably too many watches. Ben, how was your watch?
Arguably too many, you're right.
It was great. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was like an hour too long, but I loved it.
We're back. Chris, how was your watch?
Baby. Oh, it was bad. Coming off the last vacation, it was, just me and my cats sitting here watching this fucking movie. They don't riff quite as well as the two of you do during.
Cat,
watches.
Why are you not riffing?
Yeah. What do you think about the Padres? I just get meowed at. And I'm like, well, you're worse than, I don't know. You're not good co-hosts. She's not good co-hosts.
The cat all of a sudden becomes very, very productive at that exact moment. It's like, oh my god, Ben's rubbing off on them. I had to watch The Last Jedi 1.5 times, as well as The Phantom Menace this week. And I still have to watch I was very sick last week, so I'm very behind. As a matter of fact, Ben's editing this episode.
Woo.
I'm not doing it. So I can do those episodes. So not only did I have to watch The Last Jedi once and the project just fucking corrupted, I had to watch it 1.5 times. Tomorrow I'm going to watch the other half. At some point over the weekend I'm going to watch Rise of Skywalker again, and I had to fit Phantom Menace into this fucking thing. The only saving grace to this terrible fucking week of Star Wars was the audio commentary. And no, the audio commentary was not on point for a lot of it, but it was more on point than I expected it to be.
If there wasn't something I was expecting, it was the fact that listening to the commentary while watching the movie, which I also did, it didn't help my normal ADHD. Just listening to us watching this movie while watching this movie, I felt like I was going through an episode of some sort.
It felt like a reviewing process to me. That's what it felt like.
Having like a really specific psychotic break or something.
Felt like I was grading papers.
I mean, having a psychotic break is not much different than how this podcast normally feels, but for some reason watching Phantom Menace while listening to us watching Phantom Menace, it really fucked with me this week.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I think I started to watch it, and then I was just tired. I was tired of all things Star Wars this week because, again, a 2.5-hour movie commentary got corrupted, and I had to do it all over again.
Yeah.
So I listened to the audio commentary, I watched the movie, and the entire time I was just like looking up and down from my Switch because I decided to do a thing that I never intended to do, which is just hunt legendaries while I was doing it because I needed something that was not Star Wars while I consumed my Star Wars. I just needed something.
Look,
But,
sometimes
you know,
watching your Star Wars is too much Star Wars, all right? And as Ben previously established, movies just aren't the same medium as video games. No, you need some more interaction.
I was already ribbing him about this before you came on the call today.
I'm never gonna live down my
No,
preference
you
for
won't.
video
No,
You
he's
games.
sure
not.
won't. It was hilarious. You're like a video game hipster. It's like the guy who just discovered video games. Like, you guys hear about these video games?
I described it to Ben before you joined the call as what an individual in the 50s felt like trying to defend radio dramas as they went out of style.
Yep.
That's what it feels like every time Ben talks about movies versus video games.
It's almost the opposite though. Like Ben, in that situation would be like the person like, no, TV is so much better than the radios because you can see it. It's more that's Ben with the video games. Oh, movies, who needs those anymore? I can't interact with those. What are you talking about?
And
I
then
sit
he-
here and watch this shit happen. What do you mean?
And then he told me he watched a 3-hour YouTube video this week.
I was listening to it while I was working.
So the radio dramas are back, but TV dead media.
We all know I love radio dramas. I just
You know what?
dislike
I do
movies.
also love radio dramas. So.
I can be doing other things while a radio drama is happening.
All right, I'm gonna make Ben's day. I surprisingly want to talk about the pod race, in and of the fact that I want to talk about the pod race arena.
It's over.
Wait,
Got really- it's got really
I
cold
need
hell froze
to.
over.
So what I'm hearing is Jay wants to talk about the pod race.
Oh no, we've given him a fucking.
What the fuck just happened? Speaking of
He has an
psychotic
audio
breaks.
mixer. He has an audio mixer. I
Oh,
didn't think
no.
about this. I didn't think about the ramifications.
Oh,
of what's happening.
fuck. We
He
have
has a
like
new audio mixer.
effects. We're like shitty daytime radio now. Oh fuck.
I'm gonna cry out of despair. Like I have tears welling up.
God, I mean, next step is just a full soundboard, right? I mean,
Oh God. I don't have time or the patience for
You're
that. All I
awesome.
have is a little knob.
You're an
that doesn't
editor
echo,
now.
and that's it.
You're an
You're-
editor now. It's begun.
holy shit, we're evolving as a podcast. Welcome to the mixer arc.
I don't want to actually talk about the pod race. What I want to talk about is everything that happens around the pod race. Specifically, what it might be like showing up for a Mos Espa pod race. We talked about it a little on the live commentaries, and I made a joke that there's a gun raffle happening somewhere in there, and that made me want to just kind of riff on what the fuck's what kind of fucking scene it is, what kind of little fucking minor league baseball bullshit going to a fucking pod race in Mos Espa is.
I've
Not
been
even like minor league baseball bullshit, because you can't even see the event 95% of the time you're there.
Oh, it's like wrestling.
They
it's like
speed
going to a
by
live show.
and
Yeah.
They speed by going 700 kilometers an hour, and they're gone, and you just wait for them to come back. That's what they're doing.
So, do you think it's you go in there and it's a high-end arena, and there's a retail area where they sell t-shirts and shit like that? Or do you just walk in and there's a guy in a heavy jacket selling fucking hollow tapes out of his fucking jacket, and somebody handing out 50-50 raffles in the corner, and
Look, I've been to a couple of goat auctions,
Goat!
livestock auctions. I've been to a couple of livestock auctions. I have family in upstate New York, Geneseo and shit, which is just farmland and really, really rural. So yeah, I've been to a couple of livestock auctions. That's what this pod race reminds me of. It's the environment of a livestock auction where, yeah, there's a gun raffle happening somewhere over there. Some dude selling moonshine over here.
So
Jawa juice, if
essentially,
you would,
Pod racing is the galactic equivalent of a chicken fight ring. That's what we're learning right now.
God.
It's like pod racing is NASCAR, but only less stupid.
It's like a pink slip race.
Yeah.
Need for Speed pod racing is more and more a thing with every passing minute.
This is what we've come to. We just finished a rotation of watching the movies along, and we start the 11th rotation with a fucking in-depth discussion about the pod race.
I feel like I especially am just grasping at straws, trying to find the next dinner scene. Something from each movie that, like, the background would bring us joy.
I have a conspiracy.
Oh no, it's
not
been
a
10
conspiracy.
rotations since we
not
had
a conspiracy. So I don't
what
know
did
what
Qui-Gon
this is,
do?
but it's not Qui-Gon. It's a background character.
Qui-Gon killed Lincoln is what happened. That's
Ben just took off his glasses for dramatic effect on this podcast. He's holding up his Porkin shirt.
Well, when we're on Tatooine before the pod race, Jar Jar is like wandering around, and he like straight up just like tries to eat this thing that a street vendor is trying to sell people.
Yeah, the hanging frog.
Yeah, because apparently frogs are bountiful on goddamn desert planets.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about that before.
Yeah, frog's famous for loving the sand.
The guy
you hated when I talked about it.
The guy looks at Jar Jar and he says, it translates to, "Are you going?" or "You need to pay for that." But the line is, he says, "De wanna wonga," which is what fucking Bib Fortuna says. So that leads me to believe Bib Fortuna was actually asking Luke if he was going to pay for something. Because the rule for retcons is usually the later thing takes precedence.
I hate that you're making kind of a coherent point right now. I say kind of in the most tenuous of terms. I mean, like...
This is
I guess.
On a Ben Batshit scale of 1 to 10. This is like a...
It's not that 5.
It's not that batshit, but also like... Yeah, I mean, I guess, sure. Yeah, probably.
Star Wars bullshit languages have never made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Well, as we've established, the currency on at least part of Tatooine is, what is it, whoopee whoopee?
Whoopee whoopee, which, by the way, I haven't seen Book of Boba Fett, but if they didn't have Boba Fett talk about how much whoopee whoopee he's making...
We talked about that on whatever episode we brought up whoopee whoopee last time. I don't remember which one of us, but we're like, yeah, no, Boba Fett needs to at some point talk about the whoopee.
Talk about whoopee whoopee. And apparently he never did, and I'll never forgive them.
Oh no, I gotta, I'll plug our TikTok here because it seems like a good time and a good way for me to shoehorn in the weird phone notification I just got of TikTok informing me the TikTok musical has started, and for me to tune in to it. I don't know what TikTok's doing a musical apparently on TikTok currently 6 weeks ago. But yeah, go check out our TikTok. It hasn't been updated in months, but there's some funny stuff on there.
I don't know where to go from here.
The pod race. We want to keep talking about the pod race. But
well, I don't really want to talk about the pod race, but I will say I have a note from our last rotation, our audio commentary. I figure if we're grading a test, I'd give a no. We spent way too much time talking about Jar Jar's feet. Just way too much time. Way too much time talking about Jar Jar's feet.
Man, that's going to pop up in the YouTube algorithm.
Way too much time. Yo, the YouTube algorithm is fucking crazy. I opened
the YouTube algorithm is wild.
It's like, I've never tagged any of these.
Yeah, we had a pretty strange list. What was it, erotica?
Yeah, it was just like I opened the YouTube algorithm and it was like, your top search, erotica. It's like I've never tagged anything with that, and I wouldn't describe that as being this podcast. But okay.
Well, look.
Scroll down. There's like words in Arabic. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Did somebody hack the account?
How many people were looking up erotica?
on YouTube.
And scrolled past an
It was like
episode of Star Wars every week
2.7%
forever.
of viewers found you through, and I'm like 2.7.
That's ridiculously
For the small amount of views we get, that's a significant percentage.
That's insane.
That's worrying.
What the fuck are we doing? What?
Apparently
how have
something
we gotten here?
near erotica. Apparently, Ben, you gotta stop talking about Boss Nass, man.
You really do have to stop talking about
I
Boss.
can't
The
help
YouTube
it.
algorithm is picking up the lust in your voice when Boss Nass gets brought up.
When you see a man,
Show me that A03. Hi,
Oh,
everybody.
sweet
Welcome
merciful
to
Jesus. Thank
welcome to Show Me That AO3, the wonderful segment that is brought to us by @SWAO3 tags on Twitter, who go through the lovely, just godly gift of taking tags from the most searched, the most used archive or archive of fan fiction, archive of our own, and putting the tags from them randomly with no context up on Twitter. I'm very out of practice in doing this bit. It's been a long time, but here we are. So the way this works is that I will present 5 tags. 1 of them is fake, 4 of them are real. And you, the audience, along with Ben and Chris, will vote on which one I made up versus the 4 that are real. Are you ready to play?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm so excited. It's been a while since we had an AO3.
I think it's like, actually I have these usually marked. Episode 4, Rotation 9 was the last time we did this.
Okay, so it's only been a rotation.
It's been quite a while. All right, here we go. Number 1. Anakin faces the consequences of getting electrocuted every other Dave Filoni script. Number 2. Qui-Gon and the consequences of his actions. Number 3. Obi-Wan faces the consequences once again of having Anakin Skywalker for a Padawan, and Anakin is a mama's boy in a way that is nearly terminal. Number 4. OTP, Anakin/consequences. Number 5. Dooku is confronted with the consequences of raising Qui-Gon like a single parent living out of the back of a Volkswagen bus and trusting his friends he met at Burning Man to babysit him while Daddy learned the ways of the sword while high on PCP. One of these is fake.
Are you
4
sure
of them
it's
are
only one?
This might be the hardest round of Show Me That AO3 we have ever done.
You want me to give it to you again?
Because I really feel
Absolutely.
like the obvious ones would be like the 2 really drawn out ones being the fake ones, but also I've seen enough AO3 tags. No, that's not the case.
There's usually, it's either short or long. There's no middle.
They're like fucking Panic at the Disco titles.
You want me to give them to you again?
Please.
Please.
Number 1, Anakin faces the consequences of getting electrocuted every other Dave Filoni script. Number 2, Qui-Gon and the consequences of his actions. Number 3, Obi-Wan faces the consequences once again of having Anakin Skywalker for a Padawan, and Anakin is a mama's boy in a way that is nearly terminal. Number 4, OTP, Anakin/consequences. Number 5, Dooku is confronted with the consequences of raising Qui-Gon like a single parent living out of the back of a Volkswagen bus and trusting his friends he met at Burning Man to babysit him while Daddy learned the ways of the sword while high on PCP. One of these is fake.
Okay.
5. It's 5.
3. 3 is the fake one.
3? You're going with 3.
I'm going with 3.
You're going with 5.
It's 5.
I almost called you Anakin for some reason. You're going with 5, Ben?
Ouch!
I'm so sorry. Nobody deserves that. I'm sorry. You're going with 5?
I'm going with 5.
It is 5. Dooku is confronted with the consequences of raising Qui-Gon like a single parent living out of the back of a Volkswagen bus and trusting his friends he met at Burning Man to babysit him while Daddy learned the ways of the sword while high on PCP is the one that I made. It is also the longest one I have ever made ever.
I thought that one was too obvious.
I thought it wasn't obvious because I usually don't give long ones.
Oh man,
It came to me and it just kept
that was
coming
really
to me,
good.
kept coming
Yeah,
to
that
me,
was really
kept
good.
coming to me.
That was really good.
But that was Show Me That AO3. Please follow at SWAO3 tags on Twitter for their lovely contributions and letting us use this bit. Count as a delight.
It
And
is a great
recently,
follow.
6 weeks in the past, had their 1 year anniversary.
Oh, congrats, AO3, 6 weeks ago.
It's more than 6 weeks ago. It's more like 10 or 12 weeks ago, but I haven't brought it up because we haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, they're a great follow. It's one of my favorite Twitter accounts. Purely, I never seek them out. It's purely like when I'm just scrolling and I have to do a double take. So I'm like, what did I just read?
I just searched consequences on Twitter and in the people you follow area, and it's like, oh, there's enough for this.
Much easier to do than holiday or Christmas or Jesus, as it turns out.
Yeah.
It is weird coming back to normal recordings.
It feels so weird.
Normal recordings, normal for us recordings.
Jay and I were talking in our behind the scenes Discord. Like, I don't even remember what our usual recording day used to be. Like,
I knew the day. I didn't remember the time. I had no idea when we used to record this shit.
Even us recording now is earlier than we used to do. Like, we used to
Way
do
earlier.
it was like Friday or Saturday nights at like 7 Central, 8 Eastern normally.
Yeah, that's how it used to be, I think.
It's like East Coast. It's like 7 o'clock right now. Like,
on a Thursday. The look on Obi-Wan's face every time he's standing beside Qui-Gon and talking in a public place gives off the same look that a teenager gives while their parents are talking to one of their friends about either trying to understand kids today or about something wildly inappropriate.
God. It's true. I can't. It's true.
Yeah.
These, by the way, this is the first of many that will happen through this rotation, is something that I wrote down while I was editing one of the live commentary episodes and watching the movie twice in one fucking week. There will be quite a few of those this rotation.
I couldn't, for the life of me, while I was watching this week, get Train Spotting out of my head every time Obi-Wan was on screen. I don't know why this week in particular that was my thing, because I know this hit Jay a while back.
I mean, I stopped watching the movie and then watched Train Spotting 1 and 2 and then went back to Phantom Menace.
Can I ask a very important question for the context of this conversation, Ben?
Yes, I've seen Train Spotting.
Okay, so Train Spotting, one of the movies.
Oh wow, you've seen Train Spotting.
Yeah,
I did not expect that.
It was on the list that me and Redacted were going through.
Friend of the show, Redacted.
God, I'd love a list.
Every movie that you've ever seen has either because of your roommate or because of Friend of the Show, Redacted.
Exactly.
Ben, I'm gonna just start sending you movie recommendations.
I will not watch them.
I probably won't watch them. Nah, you know what? Once in a while I will. I gotta mix it up just to keep you on your toes.
This will be the equivalent of you threatening Chris to watch Star Trek and then never doing it.
And then I'll just sprinkle random references in there.
Yeah.
I've watched Star Trek.
No, I'm talking about Chris, who is threatening to watch Star Trek and just sprinkle in references when we're not paying attention.
Do it, coward.
I could be doing that now for all you know. I could have finished the whole series by now.
Chris is sitting here watching Picard as we're recording.
Yeah.
That would be a weird place to start.
It would be very weird.
Look, Charles Xavier in space, I'm sold.
Jesus.
It didn't sell you all these years.
Uh-oh.
God. What is this? What is this?
I don't know. I think we're experiencing what a normal episode feels like to people who just watch for the first time right now. I think that's what's happening. This is a very existential nightmare of a recording.
Very much.
Let me posit this, because this has nothing to do with Phantom Menace. How much better would Star Trek be if Palpatine was also the villain of Star Trek?
Quark, I need access through Deep Space Nine, Quark. I will sell you 12 bars of platinum. 12 bars of latinum, Quark, just so that I can work through you, through Deep Space Nine. I promise you, Quark, I will definitely pay you, and you will totally not die from my magical electrical hands.
I'm stuck thinking of original Star Trek.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm the only one that would make a Deep Space Nine reference
Oh,
off of that.
I would love to just watch
Palpatine
original...
on the HoloView.
Yeah. Just, you know, just young Shatner having to act against fucking, you know, just watching that dynamic happen.
Counterpoint. So there's a series of 2 Next Generation episodes with like 5 seasons between them, where Data goes to the holodeck being a place where you can kind of simulate things and it goes wrong all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Where Data starts living out Sherlock Holmes stories, but because has an encyclopedic knowledge of anything he puts his mind to, he knows who is who the killer is from the very beginning because has the archived books. So in that episode, they specifically asked the computer to make a mystery that only Data can solve, and that makes Moriarty a real life person with sentience.
Whoa, hold on.
So he can't leave the holodeck, but he's sentient. And then at the end of that first episode, Picard's like, I'm going to put you in storage. We will try to find a way that you can leave the holodeck again. And then, like, in season 7, this is season 2, and then, like, in season 7, somebody accidentally wakes him up and he's like, what the fuck? I have been aware that I've been stuck inside of this machine for 7 years. And then he tries to take over the Enterprise through making a secondary holodeck thing, and they put him inside of a cube and say, one day we will help you explore the universe for real, but you can do it in your box now.
See,
and then they forget about him again.
Everyone always talks about, like, Star Trek is the more, you know, realistic or fact, science-based of the sci-fis and all this, but, like, it's not true, because realistically, no one on the Enterprise would be getting anything done. That would be used exclusively for porn. Look at the way the internet is now. That would just exclusively porn.
That's what Deep Space Nine sometimes precariously mentions. But anyway, the reason why I brought that up is because if Star Wars was a real movie series in the Star Trek universe, somebody would accidentally make Palpatine a sentient being, and that's where Palpatine would come from. They'd walk into the house, it's like, yes, I am aware of my own existence, and now you will be my Lord Vader and shepherd me from this holodeck. Please, it's very cold in here, and I know the passing of time.
So, this begs a question of, does holodeck Palpatine have the Force?
It'd be really funny if he didn't.
Because, like, I'd imagine, like, even if he didn't, like, innately have the Force, he'd be able to manipulate the holodeck.
Watch as
to let him do what he wants.
From my fingers. What the fuck? What's happening?
The holodeck, if
usually I can't turn it off.
If Palpatine has become sentient, the holodeck is dangerous because they can turn off the safety features because it's also used to train rookies. However, it's way funnier if they, like, shut everything down. He hasn't become sentient enough to control the holodeck, and he's just like, yes, the full power of the pure energy, naked energy of the Force, and then just, like, somebody standing there like,
yeah.
You realize this is all fake, dude. Like, there's no such thing as the Force. You're, like, from some high hippie in the 70s mind.
He's like, I can't turn it off, but right now I can't turn it on. I swear I never have this problem. I can't. Don't look at me like that, Spock. Leave me alone. I swear it usually happens.
Hi, welcome to the worst episode of Star Wars Every Week Forever we've ever done. The one where we actualize Palpatine into Star Trek.
The guy who's never seen a fucking single episode of Star Trek is making a Palpatine, and a very bad Palpatine impression in Star Trek. Oh, God.
Well, we just pitched a Next Generation episode on our Star Wars podcast.
Hold on. I want Spock in Star Wars now.
No, we've made Spock just jump through random timelines way too much.
That's fair. That's
Now we're
very,
talking-
very
Fuck off,
fair.
J.J. Abrams. You're never allowed to use Spock ever again.
Your Spock privileges have been revoked.
It's just sad
Spock
because
privileges have been revoked.
I really like Zachary Quinto, and I'd like to see him in Star Wars.
I mean, I was gonna say it'll happen, but it's more likely he'll end up in Marvel now, because everybody ends up in Marvel.
God, he would have been a great Namor. God damn it, he would have been a great Namor.
Ooh. Anyway, Star Wars.
No.
I just gotta see how many obscure Marvel characters I can just talk about on this podcast that nobody else gives a shit about. You don't want to talk about Namor the Submariner? His green
Well, I don't know
Speedo?
if that Namor obscure?
Not as much anymore, but
I want to talk about the first Human Torch, which was just a robot that was made and then forgotten to history, and then
featured in
Johnny
the first
Storm-
Captain America movie in the background.
Exactly. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I think it's the first Captain America movie.
Nothing about the first Captain America movie is memorable. That's probably why I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Storm just
watch
came
fun.
around and was like, "Ooh, I'm just gonna steal that name."
Welcome to Anything But Star Wars every week.
Welcome to 3 people actively avoiding talking about Star Wars on their Star Wars.
We will
Look,
talk
hey,
about Palpatine
listen.
and nothing else.
It's rotation 11. We just came off a live watch that was very taxing and exhausting. Audience, let us have this one.
So, like, here's where I'm mentally at. I listened to the live commentary and I was like, I'm sure I'll get notes out of the live commentary. Did not happen. I literally wrote down in my notes, thought this would be like a gift unto us in this return to normal rotations. I thought that's what it would be. And the only thing that I have written down is I would like to explore more the idea that Watto killed the mini belts protagonist, and that's about it. That's all I got. Watto.
Killed who?
The mini belts protagonist that was very, very popular in the late 90s. I think Watto killed the mini belts protagonist because Watto has many belts and nobody likes Watto. That is my new conspiracy theory. Are you looking up a picture of Watto? Because this is an observation we made while looking at Watto.
No, I'm aware of Watto and his...
No, I'm looking at Ben because Ben is furiously Googling.
I don't know what you mean by the many belts protagonist.
Please don't make me explain that.
I'm so
it was a fashion aesthetic of heroes in the late 90s, especially in video games.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like
that
a
they would just-
specific.
That they would just have
character.
so many belts. And then Watto killed that trend, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I thought you were talking about like a specific like individual. I
The
was like,
long and
what is happening?
The long and short of it is I got nothing. Jack shit. I didn't get anything from this watch. I came up short. I have a brief mention that I want to talk about what R2's day was like, fucking shepherding around a 10-year-old pilot. But we did that in the episode, and I was just like, that sounds something
I know
off more.
I know for sure that in some of the other episodes, like, I'm excited to get past this fucking shithole of a movie. Because I know that we did talk about stuff during the live watches that we were like, yeah, we'll circle back to this next rotation, you know, when we actually have time to sit and just talk about it.
Luckily, we did not say that, actually.
I think there's a couple of things in Revenge of the Sith that we kind of tagged, like, yeah, we'll have to come back to this, you know.
Not this episode.
You know. Yeah.
Wish I hadn't used the bit
So-
already.
Did we watch R2D2 get knighted? Because I feel like R2D2 got knighted on the ship when they're leaving Naboo.
What, when he got cleaned up? Or what?
So R2D2 fixes the shield whatchamadoober, and they bring him over, and he's like, hey, kiddo, the queen's gotta talk to you.
Hey!
It's my favorite fucking Benism on the podcast. Hey!
So they bring him over to the not queen, but queen, and she's like, thank you, we are forever in your debt. And I'm like, is R2D, like, should I be referring to him as sir?
Well,
like,
R2D2 either got knighted or a way more disturbing other end of the spectrum.
don't do this to me.
I'm just
Jake,
saying.
don't.
Like, you should think that he got knighted because the other end of the spectrum was a droid happy ending.
No, I was gonna say that can't even happen, but legit, we've
They can
talked
feel
about this
things.
before.
Oh, fuck.
No, we've talked about
Do you
this
remember that
specific
episode of
situation.
Star Wars episode.
We've talked about this specific situation before when we were watching goddamn Empire. Because Chewie's poking around and C-3PO is like fucking
You're
inside.
right.
C-3PO goes, ooh, that feels nice.
Somehow, this is not the first time that we have talked about droid pleasure on this podcast. You're right. Somehow that is not the case. What is wrong with us?
So
Not high
much.
enough for this.
Chris, that
I'm
week
not
off next
sober
week
enough
is
for
looking
this.
real nice, huh?
What are you talking about? I'm still gonna be here.
You're so good. How's everybody doing?
I am so goddamn sick of Star Wars. And the worst part
I'm
is,
anxiously awaiting the Obi-Wan series. I'm pretty okay with Star Wars right now. Phantom Menace, not so much.
The worst part of all this is, I say that, and I know as soon as we're off this call, I'm gonna close Wikipedia. I'm gonna close all my recording stuff, and I'm gonna open up Lego Star Wars and do that for the rest of the night.
Yeah, you're really sick of Star Wars though, bud. I know.
How does that make you feel?
I don't feel it.
Full on therapy.
God. Got two motherfuckers sitting here at me.
Because I knew where it was going, Ben. You've been obsessed with this Lego Star. How many hours do you have in Lego Star Wars right now? Can I ask?
That's a good question.
I thought so. Yeah.
Once Steam decides to open, I can give
You probably already got as many hours in that as I do Elden Ring right now.
I don't know. I don't think I've been playing it that hard. I mean, granted, I don't know how much of a time sink Elden Ring has been for you.
So much of a time sink. I've easily got like 70, 80 hours in Elden Ring right now, probably.
Ooh.
I know last I checked, I was at like 30, and that was like a week after the game came out. So
I'm playing Saints Row 1 for the first time.
Oh, one of my. I mean, this is gonna be a stupid, embarrassing thing. That's the reason I have a fucking Fleur de Lis tattooed on me. That's one of my favorite fucking franchises of all time.
Saints Row 2 is top 10 games of all time for me, but I never played Saints Row 1 before.
I only ever played like one Saints Row game, and I played like the beginning, and I just didn't get in. It's the one where
it's Saints Row 3.
It's the one where you're like in an alien simulation or whatever.
Oh, Saints Row
You played
4.
the worst one.
You played the second worst one behind the one that came after that. Like, okay,
Oh,
so like,
fuck! I forgot about Gat Out of Hell.
it starts out good. The second one is great, and it's just a bad downward spiral from there.
3 wasn't bad. 3 was a disappointment. Is how I always classify 3. It's a fine game. Yeah. It's a bad Saints Row.
It's a bad Saints Row game. Hi, welcome to Saints Row every week.
Saints Row. Listen, I would be much more on board with that podcast. Look,
I just accidentally.
As Ben says, video games are better than movies, so it would be an easier podcast to do.
Never gonna let this down. Never.
Nope, never.
I just accidentally booted up Lego Star Wars. I have 37 hours.
Accidentally. 37. Okay, yeah, that sounds.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Game's been out for how long?
Almost a week.
Okay, that's far more reasonable than I expected.
I've been real good about my sleep schedule lately. Like, I'm getting up and actually eating breakfast. It's weird. I feel like a fucking functioning person.
It's weird how that works.
Like 1 hour of my day.
Being a responsible adult comes at you fast, you know. Yeah. One day your sleep schedule's fixed and you're eating breakfast, and then you blink and like, oh shit, I'm about to have a kid.
I knew if I just let you go, you'd get there.
Yep.
Hey, listen, my wife and I have said many times it's our favorite thing to say. We did this on purpose, and we're very proud of that.
I'm so happy for y'all. I'm so happy for y'all.
Interesting time to come home. Hi, love you. I'm talking about the baby.
We're talking about the baby.
Yeah. Anyway, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. What do we...
Did we just get you in trouble?
How do we feel about it now? Very confused. Walks into the office and gave me a look. What's going on?
Why are you talking about our child on your stupid podcast? I want the audience to know that I'm so desperate for something to talk about. I scrolled down to the tone poems and I was like, would I really do this to them?
That's what we get for content. No.
Because I have more tone poems. I have
No.
four more tone poems.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
That's the problem. That's what I'm
is
talking about.
A movie that George Lucas thought was a good idea,
And then it wasn't.
and nobody agreed with him. Nobody agreed to this.
It was one of the best
No,
movies.
you guys agreed to this, and I came up with the
Star
idea.
Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace is an eldritch being that George Lucas released onto the world.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then
Sounds
three
right. Yeah.
fucking idiots.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is like the four horsemen riding off into the desert to spread the plague and the word of the end of the world directly to my doorstep. And every week, they just kind of rasp on the door and hand me a copy of whatever movie we're watching. In this case, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And tell me, hey, you are required by law to watch this right now.
Yeah,
Because you made a promise 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they'll return and give me some kind of sickness the week after and hand me Attack of the Clones and then hand me Revenge of the Sith and then hand me A New Hope. And it just continues like that forever. That's what Phantom Menace is.
Yeah, 7-year-old Chris, watching Phantom Menace in the theaters, looking up, going, yeah, in about 20 years, I'm going to talk about this a whole lot.
In 20 years, I'm going to try to avoid desperately talking about this a whole lot.
Me at 10 in the front row on the floor seats watching Phantom Menace with my head turned all the way up in the middle of a bunch of smelly people thinking, yeah, this will be one of the better watches of Phantom Menace in my life.
It's all downhill from here.
Listen, yeah, no, absolutely. It is diminishing returns on watches of Phantom Menace. I mean...
Here's what we can do. Let's just list all the things we hate about Phantom Menace. That'll get us through the rest of this episode. Let's just rapid fire all the
I don't know
things
if we have enough time left and that we've been recording for a while. I don't know if we have an hour and a half to talk about.
Everything that isn't a pod race.
All right.
Okay, that's good. That's a good start.
My number one, the fucking pod race.
The pod race. I hate the pod race. I hate the sound of the pod race. I hate how loud it is. I hate how it's balanced in a way that's louder than the rest of the movie. I hate the fact that the pod race almost didn't happen because a desert storm fucking destroyed the sets and they still found a way to let it happen. I hate the two-head duo fucker that does the live commentary. I hate everything about the pod race. I hate I hate that the Tusken
flag
Raiders
ceremony.
I hate the flag ceremony. I hate the fucking farting fucking camel guy with the elephant trunk. I hate the fact that they have multiple people who are firing guns at the pod racers, but nobody ever gets shot. And the one moment in Star Wars where they fire actually regular guns, like what's the point of doing it in that case? I hate the fact that after the main villain of the pod race loses, he goes Poodoo.
It'd be really great if during like the Tusken Raider bit of the pod race, like one of the pod racers is going along next to Anakin and you watch his fucking brains get blown out. It's just like
that's what I'm saying.
Horrifically graphic.
Movie.
Horrible. Ugh.
I hate the fact that there's the Rodian friend who is really sassy to Anakin all the way up until the pod race, and you don't see him throughout the entirety of the pod race, and then he's cheering on Anakin at the end. It's like, yeah, fair weather friend, buddy. Fair weather friend.
He's there for the whole pod race.
Yeah, but make fun of him before the pod race.
Yeah. It's a bad movie. It's just a bad movie. Duel of the Fates, best goddamn saber duel in the franchise.
I hate the Windows 98 fucking wallpaper.
The one use of force speed, pretty fucking stupid.
I hate that that force speed is made and then never used again. I hate
like that. They could have perfectly. I don't know if we talked about this last rotation, but they could have perfectly implemented that at the end when Obi-Wan's trying to get down the corridor.
For every prequel movie, we said, you want to know what this scene could have had?
Yeah.
Force speed.
Like it would have been the perfect Chekhov's gun fucking scenario where you set it up and there's a payoff.
I hate on Coruscant, and this is actually something related to my watch. I hate on Coruscant that there's just one scene that they didn't upgrade to HD.
Yeah.
And that's when they exit out onto the Coruscant skyline, and the whole fucking skyline is just that old fucking SD tape fucking yellow sky. I hate that.
We should probably do this for at least like part of every episode of this rotation. Is we should just go through and list our grievances with these fucking movies.
God,
I know we bitch a lot on this podcast. I don't know that we've ever done that in any kind of like formulaic way.
We haven't.
Actually, like, yeah.
When the option was in front of me, I took it.
We should do that for at least a section of each of these episodes for this rotation. Just the airing of grievances.
Okay, let's end the episode then with a rapid fire hatred.
Fucking. My other favorite Benisms.
Fucking.
I have thoughts, but my mouth won't translate them from my brain.
Happens to me on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Skip me.
Are we just?
I don't know. Chris said we're doing it, so I'm like, I need a moment to bottle the rage.
I got a lot of mine out.
Oh, I don't ever have to do it. I have to stop it from coming out, so it's really easy to just let it out.
Let it out. Let out your hit.
Yeah, keep it all right here.
And then one day I'll die.
One day I'll die.
I hate that.
Ben made a face. I think Ben's unaware of one of Jay and I's favorite John Mulaney bits. I think that's we quote fucking constantly.
We quote John Mulaney constantly. I hate that they specifically built a battle in the end of the movie just to counterbalance the humor of the best duel in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they added a second humor segment of a 10-year-old flying through space. I hate that C-3PO is only in 15 minutes of this movie.
I hate that this entire movie could have been a backflash. Or a flashback. A backdraft. This movie feels like a backdraft.
This movie feels like a backdraft. Do you know what a backdraft is? A backdraft is when, in the middle of a fire, like in the middle of an inferno, when the available oxygen starts to collect in one area and then fires out in a massive fireball. Like, it's just collecting into one area and then explodes from the excess of oxygen. That's what this movie is. This movie is a fucking backdraft. Not the movie Backdraft. A backdraft.
There's a movie?
There's a movie called Backdraft, yes. It's a murder mystery arson.
If you say a word or a phrase and then you ask, is that a movie? The answer is probably yes.
That's fair.
There's too much content out there now.
Yeah, and we're just watching the same
over
contents
and over
again.
Fucking
over again. Movies. I feel especially cruel to Ben now because I've ruined Ben on movies forever.
Nah, it's great. I fucking love it.
Ben wasn't watching movies beforehand. What are you talking about?
It's true.
That's true. That's very accurate.
Ben wasn't watching anything but Star Wars before we started this anyway.
Yeah, but the possibility.
We've just weaponized it.
I'd really like to go back in time and have a conversation with December 2019 Jay and just go, look, why do you think this is such a good idea? Like, December 2019 Jay was convinced that this would be not a success, but like something where we like I thought it was like a surefire, hey, we'll have like a small audience and we can just keep doing this thing. Like, not money or anything like that, just like this is a thing that's
I mean, you were right in that aspect.
That's pretty succinct, yeah.
We have a small but fantastic audience that we love dearly.
Yes.
And we are just fucking broken mentally.
Yeah. Jay in 2019 of December thought this was the greatest idea since sliced bread. She thought that like she was approaching like some kind of like artful way of commenting on like nostalgia, nostalgia weaponized against Star Wars. I'd love to have a conversation and go, look, It's not that fucking deep. You're about to spend 2.5 years torturing yourself, and you think it's art.
We've talked about before. This is performance art gone wrong.
It's weaponized Star Wars consumption.
Oh, that's interesting.
If I could talk to 2019 Chris, I would be like, yeah, definitely agree to the podcast. Start smoking weed way sooner. Also, stock up on toilet paper.
I would tell 2019 December J a lot of things. Stock up on toilet paper would not be one of them. There's a lot of things that be. In fact, if I sat down with 2019 December J, as evidenced by what I've gone through on this podcast, I don't think the podcast would come up. But I would like to talk about. What would you say to 2019 Ben?
You know, you're a real motherfucker, you young lad. Yeah, no. I would. Yeah, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a straight conversation with that motherfucker. Be like, kid, listen.
Let that one go.
You were cursing yourself out?
I lost it.
Yeah, we did. You're fucking right. We did lose it.
This has been losing it every week forever.
For 11 rotations. I can't even put that many fingers up onto it.
We're past the finger counts.
God.
Ben, cut all this out.
Ben, don't you dare. Future Ben from 2022 Ben.
Future Ben.
It's still going to be 2022.
It's still going to be 2022. Don't listen to past Ben. Past Ben doesn't know anything about what's going on right now. Future Ben, listen.
Future Ben, can we talk?
Future Ben, how's it going, bud? You doing okay?
Let's go, buddy. Good night. Good night.
Oh, God.
This has been Star Wars every week forever. We are losing our fucking minds.
Yeah, we are.
Get ready for a hell of a rotation where we just talk shit about all the things we hate. Good night.
Biscuits. I really hate biscuits.
Okay.
Sweet.
Fresh Ben lore.
Fresh Ben lore.
Did
you just dab?
Dab, or was there sun in your eye? What was going on there, bud?
I know where his window is. There was no sun in his eye.
Just like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened there.
Hello, all you beautiful people, and thank you very much for joining us on yet another week of Star Wars Every Week Forever. We upload every Wednesday around noon on various platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, TuneIn, and many others. If you have any friends, companions, people you would like to torture with our presence, feel free to send them our way. You know where to find us. If you would like to interact with the show and the various co-hosts, you can find us quite easily on Twitter at SWEWF. We check there very regularly, so it's easy to get a hold of us. And I hope all of you wonderful people have a glorious rest of your day. Until next we meet, may the Force be with you.